Welcome to the Wholesome Healing Collective.
Join us on our podcast for a journey into the hearts of healers from all walks of life, diving deep as we explore meaningful conversations that have the power to inspire, empower, and share life-changing wisdom.
Through this community, we hope to create a welcoming environment where our listeners leave feeling nurtured and uplifted. We are so delighted you are here. My name is Alyssa.
And I'm Renee. Grab a drink, get cozy, and let's dive in.
Welcome back to the Wholesome Healing Collective podcast. We are so happy to be back. We took a couple weeks off as I moved and Renee did a couple training programs. But we are here sharing about our retreat coming up in October. And so before we begin diving in on that, we would love to invite you into this juicy space by taking a few breaths with us. So maybe closing down the eyes here and taking a nice deep breath in through the nose and out the mouth. In through the nose and out the mouth, releasing the jaw, relaxing the shoulders, maybe sitting up just a little bit taller. And one more breath here, inviting in a sigh. Beautiful. Just nestling here in this heart space for a moment. And when you're ready, joining us back here, we've got Renee here today, and we are so excited about talking about our retreat. We mentioned it on our last episode that it is coming up, and so we just wanted to share some details, and then we will have it live on emergebreathwork.com, hopefully the same day that this podcast goes out.
Yay! I'm excited about this. It's actually happening. It feels like it's been a long time coming because we've been planning this for like 6 months now, right?
Yeah.
So the fact that it's a couple months away is super exciting. And let's see, I know we already talked about what we plan to offer in regards to breath work, yoga, fire ceremony, cacao ceremony. So perhaps filling in some of the details around the venue that we'll be at, the support crew that we'll have, maybe painting the picture a little bit with the accommodations, the food, some of the extra goodies that we have for people. One thing that we were talking about before we hit record is wanting to portray this sense of being cared for and letting people who might be interested know that we really are taking a lot of those little details into account to ensure that those who come can really focus on pouring into themselves, and they don't need to worry about meals or where to go, what to do, what they need to bring. You pretty much just need to bring yourself and some clothes and you'll be taken care of.
Yes, we really want this to be so supportive for you on your healing journey. And we've really put a lot of thought and detail into planning the menu, picking out the support crew, like Renee said, and the activities. Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe touching on some of those questions that people might have about, do I come with a person? Do I come alone? Is it co-ed? Things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds great.
I was just going to say, come alone, come with a person, either way. I know it can be intimidating a little bit to go on adventures like this by yourself. And it can be really fun to go with a person, but going by yourself really does have some magic in there for you as well, and really allows for that deep reflection and taking that time to pour into you. And a lot of the activities that we'll be doing will be done as a group, but really we'll be inviting in that individual reflection and peeling back the layers to get to your most authentic self. So there's magic in coming alone, there's magic in coming with someone. So don't be scared if you're by yourself and you want to come.
Yeah, I've never been to a retreat, and I know that the former version of me would have been scared to go alone, but the version of me today would really find going alone being like supportive. I could be focused completely on myself and my healing and how I'm taking in each activity. So it's really cool that we offer rooms that are 2 to 3 beds. So if you wanted to come alone, you'd be paired up, or you can book the whole cabin or the room for you and a friend. So a lot of options.
Yeah. And I'll say too, I've gone to retreats solo and I've gone to retreats with people. And like I said, there's magic in both. But one thing that is nice about going alone is that you're not worried about the other person's experience. You're not worried about caring for another. And if you're someone who is maybe a bit of a people pleaser, or tends to care for the people around them more than they care for themselves, sometimes it's hard to turn that off, even when it's not your kids or your partner, and it's just a friend who doesn't expect you to do that. But our habits want us to check in on them and see how they're doing and make sure that they're doing good, which is beautiful. And sometimes it's nice to not have to worry about anyone or anything but you and what you're doing in those activities. So,
yeah. Yes. And we do have 2 titration calls, is what we're calling them, where you get to meet the other attendees and get to know us a little bit better and how we hold space. And I think that will really help create this connection and a sense of community before we even arrive at the retreats.
yeah, I think that many people will be surprised at the connections that they make, even in a short time. I mean, Alyssa and I, we met online, being partnered up in an online program, and developed the most beautiful friendship that has carried on outside of that program. So, uh, there's connections to be made. And I think the calls beforehand will be really valuable, and we'll be offering integration, at least one integration call after the event as well, so that we can all stay connected, but we can also offer that added support afterwards if there's questions or just more support needed to implement any revelations that you might have had while you were there, or maybe you want to take it a step further and grow in a certain area. We can help you with resources and options. So I think that'll be a really nice touch to bring everyone together and to create that sense of community both before and after.
Yes. I love that. And this is a co-ed retreat. So you could bring your husband or your wife, your significant other, or a friend.
Bring your partner, bring your friend, bring whoever you like. And we will offer a discount for a second person if y'all wanted to share one of the private rooms also. So there's a little bit of a incentive if you wanted to bring someone and share a queen bed in one of the private rooms.
Yes.
So one of the reasons why we wanted to invite in a co-ed retreat is so that we can incorporate that divine masculine, divine feminine energy, calling those both in and allowing both of those energies to be present so that it invites in more balance in everyone's system. We often tend to lean one way or the other, especially as women in a masculine world. So having both elements there can really invite in that alchemy that creates the balance and the harmony of both.
That's so beautifully said. Yes.
What else?
So this is also a sober / dry retreat. There will not be alcohol served or alcohol permitted at the retreat location, just because we believe that healing happens when you can remove those substances that negatively affect our mind and our body, and allowing us to really work with who we are without those substances. There are substances that help us access ourselves, like cacao, that we'll be using, but the alcohol is negatively impacting our system. And so that will not be at our retreat.
Yeah. So I'm hopefully if you're watching and you're like, oh, I don't know about that, keep an open mind and keep
an open mind and an open heart, and just be curious if that's something that you can work with. And if it's something that you can't work with, maybe ask yourself what is standing in the way from you not drinking alcohol for a weekend.
Yes. Yeah. Curiosity, always inviting in curiosity when there's that resistance there.
Yes. And we've recorded a podcast where I talk about my journey with alcohol. I know a former version of me would have been like, no, I don't want to go to a retreat where I can't drink alcohol, or I don't want to not drink alcohol for the weekend. I don't want to go to a restaurant where they don't have good alcohol. So it's like, I can totally relate with you. But now I can see how alcohol hindered my journey of accessing who I really am underneath that substance, and underneath all of the layers of conditioning that said I need to have alcohol to be funny or to let loose. And you can be all those things without alcohol.
Yeah. And we'll be designing the different embodiment practices that we incorporate so that we can gently bring down those guards so that people are naturally coming out of their shells and feeling comfortable with the people that they're around, with connecting with others, with being their silly selves. There won't be a substance needed. You're going to feel amazing with the practices because we're going to leave that chatter and resistance and doubt in the mind, and we're going to go into the body and let loose. It's going to be amazing.
Yes. But we do have mocktails planned for the first night. And so that'll be kind of a fun way to ease into it.
Yeah, that's probably a good segue to talk about the food and our wonderful chef Jess that'll be joining us. And we're really excited to have her. She's going to be on site the whole time, so tending to all of those food needs. And we've really taken time to curate the menu that we feel will be really nourishing to the mind and body, but also very complementary to the activities that we're doing. And it's going to be delicious. It's going to be so good. She's got some healthy but decadent treats planned for us that'll be gluten-free and dairy-free. Oh, so that's probably a good thing to mention, that our menu will be pescatarian. So we'll be gluten-free, dairy-free, no meat except for fish. We will offer eggs, but that's optional. So if you're vegan, there'll be options for you as well. And then we'll have the mocktails and tea and cacao. I think we'll have coffee as an option as well. That's kind of hit or miss when you go to retreats, but people love coffee. So
yeah, I like starting my day with coffee, but I'm always mindful of like that second cup. Is that going to make me too jittery for holding space or for doing breath work or something like that? But
yeah,
got to start the day with the coffee. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, that menu is really going to be nourishing, and I'm excited to see it come together and to really enjoy the menu. I'm a foodie, so it's something that I really enjoy.
Yes. And I think that's one of the big draws about retreats is that you don't have to lift a finger to care for yourself. And a big component of that is feeding yourself, right? And so many of us, especially for those that have kids, they're constantly cooking and cleaning and catering to the people in their house. And this is your opportunity to not lift a finger and let us feed you, clean for you, care for you, and just enjoy the rest and relaxation. And I'll say too, kind of the frame that we were talking about in regards to a retreat versus a vacation. And how I look at it is a retreat is essentially a vacation where you have predetermined activities that are all geared around your health, nourishment for the mind, body, and soul. And so it's a little bit different in the sense that there will be activities, there will also be free time, but it won't be a like, oh, I'm going to go on vacation and it's all free time. But of course, we will add that in. So there'll be time for hanging out on the hammocks that are in the woods, or going on walks, or enjoying the sauna that's on site, or the outdoor bathtub, or yeah, there's a lot of nature immersion type of opportunity on the property. It will be set on about 8 acres, and there's a main house with cabins around it. So there's little paths to the cabins and then little walking paths around the property. So it's going to be lovely.
Mm. Yeah, that free time, that alone time, if you want to take it to integrate and really settle into the healing that's happening in between those activities. It's so important to take that time for yourself. But you can also curl up on your bed or journal. Yeah, so many options.
Pro tip also on the retreats, if you can, schedule yourself an extra day when you get home for that integration and unpacking and kind of gently transitioning out of that nurturing energy, taking that with you as you go back into your day-to-day life, but allowing yourself that little extra time to transition is always amazing. We will be checking out relatively early on Monday. So depending on how close you are to Shasta, you'll have a bit of that day for integration as well. But if you can schedule yourself an extra day, I highly recommend it. I try to do that pretty much on every trip I go to, whether it's a retreat or not. And it is so nice. It's so nice to have that extra day. So if you can.
Yes. Yeah. So the main retreat is Friday. Check-in starts at noon up to 4 p.m. and then through Monday, checking out at 10 a.m. But we also have a VIP day on Thursday. So we'd love to share some more details about that. And it's open to anybody. If you want a little extra nourishment, a little extra support, feel free to book this extra day. We do have limited spaces. We're thinking 6 people to make it intimate, but also enough for traveling around, because we are going to provide airport pickup. in Medford, Oregon, and then stopping in Ashland, looking at the beautiful downtown area and having lunch, and then coming back and getting one-on-one support. So you can choose from coaching or breathwork with Renee and I, or massage with one of our massage therapists who we'll have on site, or an energy, a bodywork session with another facilitator. And then just some casual time, dinner, fire. And then the next day we're going to go on a hike to Mount Shasta. So we're really excited about that intimate one-on-one type support with anyone that considers themselves a VIP. And then there's plenty of free time while the others begin to check in.
Yeah, there'll be extra time for those activities that you might want to do on site, like taking advantage of the sauna or enjoying the property in even more and more exclusive way.
Yeah, we're really excited to provide that extra day, extra support. So it's just going to be a beautiful time.
I was just thinking we didn't really mention Judson, who's going to be helping us as well. He's going to be our other facilitator and helper with all the details. And so you'll see him as another support person who's going to be holding space, helping Jess in the kitchen. He's going to do sound bowls at the end of our breathwork ceremony, which is going to be a fabulous touch to that experience. If you've never experienced a sound bath, it is definitely its own magic of meditation. So we're excited that he'll be offering that as well, and then offering his body and energy work for our VIPs in one-on-one capacity.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So that will be our full support crew: me, Alyssa, Judson, and then Jess. Oh, and one note that I'll add in about the hiking too, which I think is a really special component of the VIP day, is that Shasta is long said to have very potent and magical energy associated with Mount Shasta and the surrounding area. And so all of the area, but particularly some of the hikes in the area, are said to be like portals to this potent energy. So by us intentionally communing with nature in that way and going to these special areas where we're opening our hearts to the power of that energy and really sitting with ourselves and marinating, basking in that energy for a bit, is a really special opportunity that I'm excited as a facilitator to get to enjoy, but especially excited to be able to share it with other people. And I'll be going down there ahead of time with some friends to scope out a few that I know of and then pick the one that's going to be so special. So I'm particularly excited about that part.
Yeah, I'm feeling a little envious about that extra time at Mount Shasta you get because you live much closer than I do.
I'll have to FaceTime you while I'm there. We can take some breaths together.
Yeah, juicy. The energy of the area is like icing on the cake for the retreat that we've planned.
Yes.
So
so good. I'd say, just touching on the transportation piece, like you mentioned with the VIP day, we'll be offering that airport pickup service. Outside of that, y'all are going to be responsible for your own transportation, which is probably going to be most cost effective by renting a car. You might be able to get an Uber or Lyft from Medford to Shasta, but it's probably going to be kind of spendy, and it might be more difficult to get an Uber Lyft from Shasta to Medford. So probably easier to do the car rental and potentially partner up with people that are flying in around the same time and share a rental. And we'll be able to connect people with our titration calls. We'll also probably start a Slack or GroupMe thread so that we can all be in the same place, ask questions digitally, and then coordinate things like that, sharing rentals and whatnot. So just keep that in mind, that transportation will be on you for the event. Unless you decide to do the VIP, and then we'll take care of that for pickup and hiking and all that.
Yeah. And Monday, we could even drop the VIPs back off at the airport on our way to Medford. So we'll have to stay at the location a little longer to finish cleaning up, but that means you get a little extra time to wander around the property while you wait for us, and then we can take you.
Yeah. So we'll just have to be strategic with flights, and we can help you plan that and whatnot.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Mhm.
Yeah, and Alaska Airline has pretty cheap flights if you live in an area that has Alaska Airlines.
And yeah, what else?
Yeah, I would just love to touch on Saturday night. So you mentioned the breath work and the sound bowl, but so Saturday is a full moon. So we really wanted to use that energy. So we've created a cacao ceremony, followed by breath work, followed by the sound bath, followed by dancing underneath the full moon. Hopefully weather permits all of this. And then we'll have a fire ceremony. So releasing whatever it was that we've uncovered, releasing that and tossing it into the fire in your own time as we dance around the fire and underneath the full moon. It's just going to be so sacred and such a beautiful celebration. That's kind of the culmination of the retreat. And then following like Sunday will be more playful and kind of giving that time for integration before you hit the road on Monday. So a lot of thought has gone into this retreat.
I was so excited for Saturday. Dancing around the fire under the full moon. Oh,
Yeah. It's going to be so powerful.
yes. And I don't know why this is coming to me, but I feel like making this plug. If anyone has drums, rattles, things that they might want to incorporate into their releasing and dancing around the fire, that's a fun addition to bring as well, and creating that sacred aspect in your own little ceremony that's a part of the bigger ceremony. I don't know how that came
Yes.
through, but I'm putting it out there.
I love that. Yeah. Bringing what feels good for you. Maybe, like you said, drums, a rattle, maybe it's crystals, maybe it's essential oils, bringing something sacred and special and that helps create a sense of safety as well, depending on the piece. I think that is such a beautiful invitation.
Oh, and on that note too, we will have an altar. And so the altar will be our place where we can bring, if you'd like, bring an item to put on the altar that represents what your intention or what you're calling in for the retreat and your time, your experience, and having that item represent that intention that you're going to be pouring your energy into throughout the activities that we do. That is a really wonderful way to bring a visual representation to the intentions that you're setting. And then, of course, we're bringing all of that energy together as everyone brings an item for the altar. And it's just a beautiful, sacred way to bring that intention into the ceremony.
Yes. So beautiful. So check out the website for more information on the dates, accommodations, activities. If you missed our previous podcast episode, and then there's a link that will lead you to the $222 deposit to hold your spot, and that'll take you to the application we want to make sure it's a good fit for everybody and get some extra details on who you'd like to room with or what that kind of looks like. And then we'll reach out to you and we'll get you the dates for the titration calls, and we will get we'll get going. We're so excited for this retreat, and we would love to have you there.
Can't wait.
Yeah, beautiful. So thank you for watching this episode today, and we hope to see you again next week or sometime soon.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.